So for a while there, it did seem like Germany might actually be heading, or rather putting one foot out of the FIFA World Cup. But late goal means that they are now still, mathematically at least, in
Yes.
with a very fighting chance of making it to the next
And to
round.
an extent, they do have things in their own hands. Just to an extent, they
To an
still
extent.
need one result to go their way, which is
Exactly.
Spain winning over
Japan,
Japan. They'll
correct.
need that to happen. And given the way Spain have performed over the last two games, including today's,
You
it
would
looks
actually back them
you
to do
would
that.
back them to secure actually a big win against Japan, unless of course there is another upset. We've already seen
Exactly.
three of those, including Japan's win over Germany. Possibly one today as well, if that counts in any way, the Morocco win. But talking about this game, Chin, highlights or takeaways for you?
See, highlights or takeaways for me, one is that Spain's possession game is next level. They were extremely smooth. In fact, for about the first 60, 70 minutes, they didn't give Germany a sniff.
Right.
It's, it was at that point where you didn't think the Germans would actually be getting a goal on the night.
Yeah.
And when it did come, it came from just, I think, Spain momentarily switching off. Alvaro Morata, by the way, big super sub for Spain.
Big super sub. As
Two
things
sub
turned out to be.
appearances,
Yes,
two
two
goals. And by the way, for Germany, I think a lot of questions still, because even if they do make it to the next round, I mean, they would be wondering. I mean, they were listless for the most part in this game.
Yeah.
There was only brief bursts of pressure, of sustained pressure on the goal line, or even when it comes to their pressing. So there are a lot of question marks for them. I was personally questioning, even if any of you guys were watching the Sports Talk watch party, we were there. Is to what was the logic behind a lot of the substitutions? It took them an age to affect
to
it.
bring them on, and then you see, those substitutions of both the teams. In fact, but speaking more for Germany over
It was
here,
the ones who made the difference.
though who made the difference and could have ultimately had the final say as well, had it not been for that miss from Leroy Sané. He almost did everything right, but
Exactly.
failed to get the finish. But one point, since you were making a point about Spain and that your takeaways for them, you made the point about them being smooth.
Yeah.
I love the fact that their midfield, that whole combination around Sergio Busquets, I would say,
Yeah.
the two youngsters right alongside him. They made they made things look so easy for Spain,
Yeah,
because that
absolutely.
transition, even when they tried to, we didn't see a lot of long balls as we did from Spain, or as we did from Germany, but Spain kept the ball on the ground, and from they were trying to build from the back, and they made the whole process look so easy. They were finding these passes so very easily, and that's where the midfield obviously comes into play, and of course giving so much of space to Olmo again. That's something tactically that Germany would want to
Be addressing.
address
Yeah,
going
absolutely.
forward. You can't give somebody on either of the wings, let's say, so much space, and
Absolutely.
much of the game as a result was being played on the left hand side. But let's also at this point, let's see if we can take a few questions
We do have a
also.
couple of comments, I
Yes.
think, which are there.
Yeah.
Anil Kumar
How can
Sharma is
Germany
asking,
qualify?
Japan, Morocco, and Spain, but Morocco aren't in this group, though. I mean, I think you're mixing up groups here, Anil, because
Yeah,
Spain's group is Spain, Germany, Costa
Germany.
Rica, and Japan.
Yes.
So actually, if you look at how it is that they can qualify, they currently have 1 point. Okay. Japan have, if I'm not wrong,
Japan have got three.
three because they
Because
lost.
They
Yes,
lost.
yes.
Yes, they lost.
And Costa Rica have three because they lost their first and then won. So
Costa Rica.
yeah, they won. No, they beat
Yes.
they beat Japan.
They beat Japan today.
So
1-0, right?
Yeah. So at the moment, every team except for Germany has
Germany
a
has-
win. So
Yeah.
what Germany have to now do is hope that they beat Costa Rica, which takes them to 4 points. Then hope that Spain beats Japan, because then that way there'll be three.
4 points.
They'll be on 4
They
points.
were- so Spain that ways will get to 7 points with 2 wins and a draw. That takes them to 7. Germany will then be on 4 points with today's 1 point, and then of course 3 points they'll be targeting against Costa Rica then.
Oh, and Ferran Torres has joined us here on Sports Today as well. Wonderful.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
I love his commitment.
Yeah, and Rohit Roy says that Neuer was poor with the ball clearance. Did that Japan loss put a lot of pressure on the German minds? No, I thought Neuer was, for the most part, yeah, he did make a couple of small errors here or there, but definitely Germany would be under pressure, because again, they would have expected to be beating Japan. No disrespect to Japan,
Absolutely.
but they would have been expected to get at least a win, if not a win, at least a draw, and they lost. lost. What happens with the loss first up is it puts that pressure. You saw how Argentina were against Mexico.
Yeah.
They were very tentative until Messi gave them that breakthrough because they knew that if they had dropped points again, then they'd be very reliant on other results, and that's what happens. And to be fair, that is what Germany are going to be in as well. Because again, if Japan win somehow, then Germany's hopes are all but over.
Absolutely.
So they are really reliant on people, giving them hope. Oh, Sanket Joshi, by the way, is a guy who joins us from Germany. And he's saying that, look, I watched this match with some of my German friends here. They've almost lost their hope. I mean, I don't blame them because, truth be told, even today...
But you know, I believe your friends have got something to hold on to over here. And it's not, you know, everything's not over for Germany yet. Yes, of course, they need one result. But see, it's a result that unless there's an upset, you see that, you know, as a very likely scenario that Spain will get the better of Japan. But having said that, I think there is more than just hope for Germany here. They will obviously want to back themselves to get those 3 points against Costa Rica. And they would want to secure a big win as well because they need confidence. You know, if they are to go through to the round of 16, you need confidence. This team needs confidence right now.
But they also need to find some form because, truth be told, I have not seen anything from this German team to suggest that they're too much better than the German team of 2018.
See, clearly, you know, they were the second best team today.
Yeah.
If you are to look at of course, the scoreline will say yes that the two teams were level. But if you look at the overall quality of
Spain
the
dominated,
game,
no two ways
Spain
about
dominated in almost all aspects of the game. So because from a defensive point of view as well, you just cannot afford to give a winger so much space, and that's what happens throughout the game. So yes, Germany not looking the very best. There are a couple of teams, including Brazil, France, Spain, of course. These three teams in particular for me have really set the benchmark as far as you know, gameplay is concerned. And Germany, for all the reputation that they have, aren't, you know, hitting or they're not there yet for the benchmark.
They're really not firing on all cylinders at
firing
this point.
on all
They're
cylinders,
just not.
yes.
They're not. And Ferran Torres jokingly asking if we should rest in the next game. I think your coach would be a better person to, you know, make that call. Anupam, thank you so much. And on that note, we can actually, you know, bring this live to an end. So if you guys are just joining us, Germany still alive, only just hanging on by a thread. Whatever cliche you want to use, it's good because it's true. They are still alive technically, but they will be actually reliant on results in the final round of games to get them through. For Spain, 1 foot into the knockouts because they won their first match by a massive margin. Draw here affects them in no way
whatsoever. Goal difference is not a worry for Spain here. And of course, they've all but sealed a place in the round of 16. So they do want to do it in some fashion by getting a win in their final group stage
the
match.
Germans would hope that they do that.
Against Japan. But we'll have to wait for a few days for that, for both those matches to happen. And when they do, Shane and I will be here to bring you all the latest from that match.
And don't forget, plenty of matches still to come. Even tomorrow, you have some very big ones. You have Portugal taking on Uruguay. So it should be a very, very good day in the World Cup. Hopefully, we get some more interesting, exciting stuff. If we do, don't forget, you can join us here at Sports Today to talk about it. For now, we're taking your leave. But thank you guys for joining us. Like, share, subscribe, comment, tap that bell icon. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And download the SportsTech app where you can get all the World Cup highlights for free, whether it be goal by goal, whether it be full highlights, and of course you can also check out highlights if you're so interested of the T10 League and of course India's series in New Zealand. Thank you, good night, and bye-bye for now.